Hey, everybody, welcome to EduMatch. So follow along with us at podcast.edumatch.org/tweet talk. You can also back channel on Twitter with the hashtag EduMatch. So I'm super excited for tonight's special episode because we have here with us Leslie Anaya. So welcome, Leslie.
Hi, thank you. I'm super excited to be here.
Yeah, super excited to have you. So I'm gonna tell the folks a little bit about you. So I'm super geeked because Leslie has written an amazing chapter that's going to be coming out in the upcoming EduSnap 17. So it's all about blended learning as well as her experiences with connecting. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Leslie. So Leslie received her undergraduate degree from Schreiner University. She was a stay-at-home mother and foster mom for many years before pursuing her teacher certification credentials. After advocating for the educational needs of the children in her care, she felt a calling to pursue her alternatives teacher certification from Texas A&M Commerce. She is currently pursuing her master's in educational administration from Concordia University, Texas, in Austin. After serving as a special education teacher in Dallas ISD, Mansfield ISD, and Abilene ISD, she found her teaching home in Brownwood ISD. Leslie is beginning her third year of teaching sixth grade math in Brownwood. As a strong proponent for student-centered instruction, she uses a blended learning model for her students, incorporating a strengths-based approach to differentiate for all student needs. And we're going to be talking about that in just a little bit. Leslie believes in teaching the whole child, as evidenced by the strong relationship she's formed with her students, parents, colleagues, and school community. Her professional interests focus on leveraging EdTech resources combined with solid pedagogy for her students' benefits. Leslie's current projects, fueled by a passion to make a positive impact and inspire her students to strive for the same, include creating blended learning experiences that incorporate student collaboration to foster innovative mindsets. Her practices were featured in Vicki Davis's 10-Minute Teacher podcast. In addition, she serves as a panelist for PBS's Teachers Advisory Group and a learning ambassador of Who Knew It. Finally, she was recently honored with 2018 Elementary Teacher of the Year for her contributions to students and the learning community at Coggin Intermediate, Brownwood ISD, and ESC Region 15. She has also been nominated for the HEB Excellence in Education Award. So welcome, Leslie.
Thank you, Sarah.
Wow, that is super impressive. You have quite the bio there. So that is just awesome, and that just speaks to all of the change and the impact that you're making for your students. So kudos to you on that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, question. So just so that the viewers can get to know you a little better, what's your background and who or what inspired you to go into education?
I always wanted to be a teacher, but when I graduated college, I moved out of state and had gotten married, and I became a mother. And so I stayed home. I love kids and decided to be a foster parent as well. I have a child with special needs. He's on the autism spectrum, and having to go in and fight the school to help him and for the foster kids that were in my care, I felt like I was hitting my head against a wall and running into roadblocks and just jumping through hoops to try to help the kids. I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, I want to be in the classroom. I want to be making a difference. I want to make sure that the kids are getting what they need and that the parents were getting what they need. And so I felt like being there, I could ensure at least that the kids who I had contact with could be advocated for, and I wanted to be teaching them. I love the children, so.
Absolutely, absolutely, and you definitely have that passion, and it kind of manifests itself in your writing. Um, so you kind of answered my next question about your passion to advocate for teaching a whole child. But if you could speak a little more too about the whole child part. So what's fueling your passion behind that?
Well, so with my original passion when I went into teaching, working with kids with autism, communication is shown through their behavior. And so it was really frustrating to me that people weren't really understanding that. They would see a child acting out or having a meltdown and think that it was, just the child being non-compliant and the way that the kids were being treated, and just kind of swept to the side and not thinking or believing that the kids had potential, that they had something to offer. It really just burned me up. And the kids are so smart. They've got so much to offer and so much to share. And even with their splinter skills, like they might have a weakness or struggle in one area, but there's so many areas that they teach us so much. And so wanting to be there and learn from them and work with them and making sure to be a liaison to help other people understand where they were coming from. I truly believe that, again, behavior is a form of communication. And so just trying to build those relationships and helping the kids believe that they have potential, because for so long they've been told or treated like they didn't, that I wanted to make sure that they knew that somebody believed in them.
Absolutely. And that's powerful. Definitely recognizing the strengths that each of the kids bring, and viewing, all of the gifts that they have and all of the talents that they have as an additive, an added bonus. Everyone can learn from one another as opposed to looking at what skills the students don't have. Somebody had made a comment about that in the EduMatch Voxer group a couple of days ago that really resonated with me. So I really love that perspective that you just shared right now. So this kind of brings us to our next topic. So you're a contributing author in upcoming EduSnap 17. So yay, I'm super excited about that because your chapter is fantastic. So what can people expect to read?
I talk in the chapter, of course, what we just talked about, what fuels my passion and why I wanted to go into education, but also about blended learning. I learned about it in the summer of 2015 and immediately saw the impact that it could have to help close those gaps and have it be more personalized. Everybody talks about differentiation, and we all talk about how difficult it is because we have the wide spectrum of students in our classrooms. And so that's definitely a challenge that everybody struggles with. And I immediately saw the benefit that blended learning could bring to that issue.
Yeah, totally. So now that you're talking about blended learning, what exactly is it and what does it look like in your classroom?
Well, there's three different models. There is the lab rotation model, where it kind of depends on what your campus has, because some people aren't a one-to-one campus. There's lots of campuses that just have a computer lab. Some of them may have one iPad card or one Mac card that people share. So the lab rotation model is for campuses that have a computer lab, and then the teachers would go like once or twice a week, depending on how many classes we're sharing it, and use different programs with prescriptive content like iStation or Think Through Math or MobyMax, IXL, Prodigy, the list goes on and on. And so that's one of them. And then the one that I use is the class rotation model. When I first got to Brownwood ISD, we didn't have a lot of technology to share. So I was kind of piecing together what we had and checking the carts out when I could. But I applied for a grant and got a innovative teaching grant from our education foundation. Yay! And then so I use that to buy Chromebooks. And so we are in my classroom a 2-to-1. I have 4 classes, almost 100 students, but I have them set up in different stations. I use 4 stations in my classroom. The teacher table, where I work with them in a small group setting, 3 to 6 students at a time, and that's when I do most of the direct instruction. And then I have the Technology 1, Technology 2 station, and then the Collaborative station, where we do projects and a lot of inquiry-based work, so hands-on stuff too.
That is super cool. So pretty much taking into account like what technology you have available, is that like kind of the way that people can structure it?
Yes, absolutely, because you have to work with what you have sometimes, and if you don't have it, then you can go find it or figure out a way to make it work.
I totally hear you on that. Because I know that a lot of schools, you can sign out the iPad cards and things of that nature, or like you were saying, go to the computer lab. Because most schools have that at that or at least some computers in the classroom. So yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And the third one, the flex model is where you actually have most of the students in for really intensive instruction or intervention, and that's more student-led, but you can really structure it any way you want.
Yeah, definitely. Wow. So that is cool. I'm really loving to hear about how you do it in your classroom and how other people can do it as well. So what advice well, actually, let me backtrack. So you wrote in the beginning about your journey in connecting with other educators. So what have you learned along the way?
Oh my goodness. Okay. It's a long story. um, when I first started kind of looking into the innovator's mindset, the book from George Couros, I started like doing the book study and then connecting with all these educators. And then I saw you on one of the live things, and I was like, this lady is awesome. I need to connect with her. And then through that, I learned about your EduMatch organization and the book that way. And then I've connected with Christy Cade and Jamie Donnelly and Who Knew It. I mean, the list just goes on and on. George talks in his book about when you open one door, you have adjacent possibilities. And that's exactly what's happened on Twitter. I mean, you connect to one person and they connect you to like 10 more, and then you meet all these passionate educators, and I don't feel alone anymore in my frustration because you guys are so positive and it helps keep me focused on the passion. And so that kind of keeps the wheels turning in the right direction. But the best thing about it is it's for the kids. And seeing you and knowing you and all these other educators, and it keeps me going and it keeps me focused on the kids. And you talked a little bit about the awards and the honors, and I was excited about it, not because it was an award or I got a plaque or anything like that. I was excited about it because it's a great platform to help the profession and a great platform for the kids.
Yeah, totally. I hear you on that. And all of the great things that you said, right back at you. Like it's amazing learning from you and learning with you, because you share so much with the community. So thank you for all that you do. Yeah. So I have to say my favorite part of the chapter was the part at the end where you kind of listed different steps, different things that people could do in order to connect with their students. So if you wouldn't mind sharing like a little bit of advice that you might have for other educators based on your experiences.
Well, the steps that I talked about in your book really was stuff that passionate educators do anyway. Being transparent and being real. I had to learn the hard way that you don't walk into your classroom and it's a formal setting and I'm the teacher and you're going to all be quiet and listen to me. Like having real conversations with the kids about real issues and them feeling like, okay, I'm a real person. She's talking to me, not at me. It makes a big difference with not only your relationship with the kids, but what they believe they can accomplish. Because they're seeing that their teacher believes in them, and that if you're listening to them, maybe their voice is important, that they can share their ideas with the world.
Totally. I love that because the relationships are definitely the foundation, and I love what you said about how they start believing in themselves when they know that someone's believing in them. Sorry, whoo, it's daylight savings time. It does a little something to your brain. Yeah, but that is awesome advice, and I can't wait until your chapter comes out and everybody gets to read it because it was just fantastic. So kudos to you on that.
Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity to be a part of just EduMatch and to be a contributing author in the book. It's exciting. And
Yeah, and we're excited to have you. So thank you so much for joining us. So I have one more question for you because time flies, when you're having fun. I can't believe that time has already gone by so fast. But tell me, how can people get in touch with you online if they want to connect?
the best way to connect is on Twitter. And my Twitter handle is Inspired Leslie.
Sweet.
follow me, I'll follow you back. Send me a direct message. I'm super excited to connect with educators or people who are passionate about helping children all over the world. So absolutely, I absolutely want to connect.
Absolutely. And that passion is tangible. Like every time I talk to you, then it just comes across and just it comes through your writing and everything. So thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us tonight, and everybody who's watching and everyone who will be watching later on, then definitely follow this lady. She is amazing. Her chapter is amazing. So super excited for that to go down. So please join us on Sunday. We're going to have another special episode at a special time, 7 p.m. And we're going to be chatting with Eric Francis at Maverick Education. And we're going to be chatting about asking the right questions. So that should be a cool one. So yeah, so definitely check that out. Same bad time. Well, not same bad time, but the same bad channel for sure. So definitely looking forward to that. So hopefully everyone has a great evening and a great rest of the week. And thank you again, Leslie.
Thank you. Go team.
Yes, go team, go.